morning again, everyone. Tina Spalding Trance Channel here with lesson 43 of A Course in Miracles. God is my source. I cannot see apart from him. Perception is not an attribute of God. He is the realm of knowledge. Yet he has created the Holy Spirit as the mediator between perception and knowledge. Without this link with God, perception would have replaced knowledge forever in your mind. With this link with God, perception will become so changed and purified that it will lead to knowledge. That is its function as the Holy Spirit sees it. Therefore, that is its function in truth. In God, you cannot see. Perception has no function in God and does not exist. Yet in salvation, which is the undoing of what never was, perception has a mighty purpose. Made by the Son of God for an unholy purpose, it must become the means for the restoration of his holiness to his awareness. Perception has no meaning. Yet does the Holy Spirit give it a meaning very close to God's. Healed perception becomes the means by which the Son of God forgives his brother and thus forgives himself. You cannot see apart from God because you cannot be apart from God. Whatever you do in him, because whatever you think with his mind. If vision is real, and it is real to the extent to which it shares the Holy Spirit's purpose, then you cannot see apart from God. 3 5-minute practice periods are required today, one as early and one as late as possible in the day. The third may be undertaken at the most convenient and suitable time that circumstances and readiness permit. At the beginning of these practice periods, repeat the idea for today to yourself with eyes open. Then glance around you for a short time, applying the idea specifically to what you see. 4 or 5 subjects for this phase of the practice period are sufficient. You might say, for example, God is my source. I cannot see this desk apart from him. God is my source. I cannot see that picture apart from him. Although this part of the exercise period should be relatively short, be sure that you select the subjects for this phase of practice indiscriminately without self-directed inclusion or exclusion. For the second and longer phase, close your eyes, repeat today's idea again, and then let whatever relevant thoughts occur to you add to the idea in your own personal way. Thoughts such as, I see through the eyes of forgiveness. I see the world as blessed. The world can show me myself. I see my own thoughts, which are like God's. Any thought related more or less directly to today's idea is suitable. The thoughts need not bear any obvious relationship to the idea, but they should not be in opposition to it. If you find your mind wandering, if you begin to be aware of thoughts which are clearly out of accord with today's idea, or if you seem to be unable to think of anything, open your eyes, repeat the first phrase of the exercise period, and then attempt the second phase again. Do not allow any protracted period to occur in which you become preoccupied with irrelevant thoughts. Return to the first phase of the exercises as often as necessary to prevent this. In applying today's idea in the shorter practice periods, the form may vary according to the circumstances and situations in which you find yourself during the day. When you are with someone else, for example, try to remember to tell him silently, God is my source. I cannot see you apart from him. This form is equally applicable to strangers as it is to those you think you are closer to. In fact, try not to make distinctions of this kind at all. Today's idea should also be applied throughout the day to various situations and events that may occur, particularly to those which seem distressing to you in any way. For this purpose, apply the idea in this form. God is my source. I cannot see this apart from him. If no particular subject presents itself to your awareness at the time, merely repeat the idea in its original form. Try today not to allow any long periods of time to slip by without remembering today's idea, and thus remembering your function. That is lesson number 43. God is my source. I cannot see apart from him. Let's see what Jesus has to say today. You are blessed beings indeed. I am that one that you know as Jesus. And it is important for you to see that God is your source. It is the miraculous, life-giving energy and power, benevolent energy and power that gives you this vital life force that is yours. You are not a random occurrence in the universe. You are designed and specifically created originally by that which you would call God. Now you have come down into separation and you have forgotten who and what you are and why you're here. And that is why you are doing these lessons, to remind you of your sanctity, to remind you of the unique place that you hold in the mind of God. You are not more special than anyone else, but you are a unique manifestation of the mind of God. And it is important for you to remember that you have been given particular qualities that are going to become more evident to you as you remove the untrue ideas and confusions from your mind. This is something that many of you struggle with. You wonder what your purpose is. You wish you could have a better job, or you wish that you could have some inspired career that is going to make your life fulfilled. These things will become more and more apparent as you clean up the detritus and the garbage from your mind. That is something that is pretty logical to think about. If you have too many untrue ideas, contaminations in the mind, you are not going to be a clear receiver. You are not going to get the guidance that you need to be able to make decisions. And this is why so many of you have confused lives. You have unhealthy bodies, or you have distorted and dysfunctional relationships. Because there are too many things in your mind that are confusing to you because they are not true, and yet you act as if they are true. You think you are a body. You think that you will die when your body dies, but this is not true. You are not a body. You are enlivening the body. You are the creator of the body in the sense that it cannot be without you. You do not need it, however, and this is something that is going to become a more comfortable belief and idea for you as you go through these lessons and practice them as you have been guided. You are a beautiful idea in the mind of God. You have always been, and you will always be. The body comes and goes. It is not who you are. Do not think it is. In my earthly incarnation, I went to the cross to prove that I was not the body that beings thought I was. I had reached that point in my evolution where I knew this, and there was no contaminating idea in my mind that caused me suffering. There was no contaminating idea in my mind that disconnected me from my Father. There was no idea in my mind that caused me to fear. And that is why I went through that experience, to demonstrate my ability to overcome the physical material world. And that is what we are working towards. Everything I did, you too will be able to do as you evolve and as you clarify and as you walk closer and closer to love. I am that one that you know as Jesus. We do not expect you to believe this wholeheartedly, but we tell you to remind you that you are indeed the same as me. I am merely your older brother who has walked further and for much longer on the road towards love. But I am calling you to come with me. I am calling you to walk with me on that road, for this road has no suffering. I am that one that you know as Jesus, and we will see you again tomorrow. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.